Hello everyone. Before we make the promised video on part 3 of the routing tutorial, we'd like to present the improvements we've added in version 8.0.5. These improvements mainly fall into two categories: the intelligent and consistent combination of weather files and the enhanced management of POIs, points of interest. We've also fine-tuned the display in the routing module. Many sailors use Arome because it's the model that offers the most geographically precise forecasts. However, it is very limited in time. You usually only get 30 to 40 hours of forecast. In contrast, the Arpège model covers a much larger area and, more importantly, extends much further in time, up to about 90 to 100 hours. The major advantage is that both models come from the same organization, Météo France. They are therefore based on the same underlying data. Anticyclones and depressions are positioned in exactly the same places, which makes combining them perfectly coherent. On the other hand, it would make no sense to mix Arome and NOAA-GFS, as you'd be comparing apples and oranges from a meteorological point of view. When you select this new source in Avalon, the app handles everything automatically. It first prioritizes Arome HD for its precision, then seamlessly switches to Arpège as soon as Arome's forecast horizon is exceeded or when you move outside its coverage area. For you as an Avalon user, not much changes in daily use. Simply go to the weather sources settings and select Arome HD plus Arpège. Of course, you can still choose Arome HD alone or Arpège alone, but these options are now much less useful. We've kept them anyway to maintain full flexibility. While we were at it, we applied the same principle to the overseas Arome models. We've added Arpège Monde to Arome Antilles, Arome Polynesia, and Arome Nouvelle Caledonia. Same logic, these sources are perfectly compatible with each other. There's therefore no longer much reason to keep them separate. We've also done the same with the Ifremer current sources, as I had announced on some forums. Ifremer offers a mix of zones at 2-kilometer resolution and others at 250 or 700 meters. We've aggregated all of that. Concretely, we've grouped the Aquitaine, South Brittany, Finistère, Eastern Channel, Western Channel, and Gascogne zones into one large Atlantic zone. Avalon automatically selects the highest available resolution based on your position. This means that even if you sail from the north of Ireland down to Hendaye in the Basque country, the app will always use the finest data available in each sector. In the current selection menu, you'll find the regional source Ifremer Mars 2D Atlantic, as well as the new source we created, Ifremer Mars 2D Combo. This one automatically integrates all Ifremer zones, smoothly transitioning from 250-meter resolution to 2-kilometer resolution depending on your location. In the national currents, you will still see the old separate zones. They remain accessible, but they are now fully compatible. There's therefore no longer any need to select them individually. Now let's move on to the improvements concerning POIs, points of interest. POIs are still created from the navigation module. As in version 7 and previous versions, you can also create a batch of POIs by importing a CSV file into your Avalon cloud space on the web. The big new feature is that managing these POIs is now much simpler. In the routing module, click on Route Management and you'll find a submenu called POI Management. When you click on it, you'll see all the POIs you've created. You can sort them by date or by name. If you sail in multiple areas, I recommend starting the label with the name of the navigation zone. This makes sorting much clearer and faster. You can easily enable or disable each POI. For example, some racers activate 14 or 15 POIs for the Voile de Saint-Tropez, but won't need them for another regatta. They simply activate the ones that are useful for quickly defining their course. To delete a POI, simply swipe the row to the left. A delete button will appear. To edit a POI, tap on it in the routing module. The latitude and longitude information will appear. Tap again to change the label or the position. Note that during the next synchronization between your tablet and your Avalon Cloud account on the web, the files containing the POIs will also be updated. So if you then synchronize with another tablet or phone, all your POIs will be automatically imported. Finally, we've made two improvements to the route display in the routing module. First, you can now show or hide isochrones directly from the Layers menu located on the left side of the screen. No more need to go back into the settings every time. It's much more convenient, especially since displaying isochrones permanently can clutter the screen unnecessarily. Second, you can now display the previously calculated route. This makes it easy to compare two routes, for example, when testing two different weather models. However, be aware that for a truly serious comparison between multiple models, the multi-scenario mode remains much more powerful. That's it for this video. The next one will be part 3 of our Avalon routing tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you soon.